Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Frank Malloy. We continue to follow the big story that has been a major story for several days now. The weather, not only here in central Georgia, but also around the state. A lot of folks are gathering in Atlanta right now to talk about the weather and how it's impacted portions of the state of Georgia and some of the activities they are doing right now in response to what has happened. We're getting ready to hear from GEMA Director Josh Lamb, along with Department of Public Safety people, updating us on the current situation in different parts of the state, especially the northeastern portions of the state, and also some of the responses. Let's take you to Atlanta right now.
FEMA to identify, mobilize, and provide equipment and resources necessary to help alleviate the impacts of the storm if requested. Now, I want to remind everybody, we're not out of this event. State offices in the northern half of the state will be closed tomorrow. The map with specific counties is available on our website. As of yesterday, the State Operations Center, SOC, has been operating at a level 1 full activation and will continue to do so 24/7 until this winter weather event is past. Although we had a lull in the storm this morning, we are still expecting another round of freezing rain in northeast Georgia this afternoon. GEMA Homeland Security is coordinating with partners at all levels, including other state agencies and our utility partners, to ensure resources are available where needed. 17 Starlinks and satellite phones were pre-deployed, utilizing GSP's aviation unit to counties in northern Georgia. Fuel for generators are being delivered to 911 centers, which are experiencing power outages. Chainsaw strike teams consisting of DNR and Forestry Commission personnel, along with Georgia National Guard troops, are assisting with debris removal in affected areas. Shelters are open in Rabun, Walker, White, and Towns County. We're seeing an increasing number of power outages across northern Georgia and the metro area, and utility providers are working to restore power in affected areas. To keep you and your loved ones safe, we recommend staying at home and staying indoors. And keep your pets inside with you while you're at it. Remember to check on any elderly or disabled relatives and neighbors. Make sure to stay hydrated. Dehydration occurs more in cold weather. People suspect it less because you're not sweating. Take care of your home as well. And please keep space heater safety in mind. Use electric space heaters with automatic shut-off switches and non-glowing elements. Plug space heaters directly into the wall. Don't use an extension cord. Remember to keep all heat sources at least 3 feet away from furniture and drapes. Extended periods of time with temperatures below freezing will increase the chance of pipes freezing or bursting. Remember, allow your faucets to drip a little and open cabinet doors to allow heat to get to uninsulated pipes, under sinks, and appliances near exterior walls. We're seeing power outages throughout the state. Always exercise caution when using alternative light and heating sources. Use flashlights during power outages instead of candles to prevent the risk of fire and have plenty of extra batteries on hand. Never use an oven to heat your home. Never bring portable generators, camp stoves, or grills into your home. They should only be used outside. Keep them at least 20 feet away from your home's windows, doors, and vents to prevent deadly carbon monoxide poisoning. If you lose power and don't have an alternate heating source, Georgia State Parks have opened warming stations for public use. Park pass fees will be waived for those using these warming stations. For locations, dates, and times, please visit georgiastateparks.org/alerts. You can also reach out to your local EMA for lists of warming stations or if you need additional assistance. If you spend time outside, be careful. Wear multiple layers of warm clothing and do not rely on one bulky item for warmth. Watch for frostbite. Warning signs include white or grayish yellow skin, numbness, and skin that feels unusually firm or waxy. If symptoms are detected, get medical help immediately. If medical help is not available, get the victim to a warm location and immerse the affected area in warm water. Frostbitten areas are numb and can be easily burned, so avoid using heating pads, fireplaces, or radiators for warming. Do not rub the frostbitten area. This could cause more damage. Watch for signs of hypothermia, including shivering, memory loss, fumbling hands, slurred speech, and drowsiness. If the victim's body temperature is below 95 degrees, seek medical help immediately. If medical help is not available, get the victim to a warm location. Remove wet clothing, warm the center of the body first using an electric blanket, and if conscious, give the victim warm, non-alcoholic beverages. Please continue to stay off the roads as much as possible. This will give Georgia DOT crews the room they need to maintain the condition of the roads. If travel is necessary, slow down, allow extra time, and be especially careful on bridges and overpasses as they freeze first. Lastly, know who to call if you're in need of assistance. If you're experiencing a life-threatening emergency, call 911. If you need to check road conditions, report an incident, or request road assistance, call 511. If a tree is blocking the road or if you see someone in need of shelter, call 311. If you'd like to report a power outage or down power lines, call Georgia Power. If everyone keeps these safety tips in mind, GEMA and our state partners will be better able to respond to the needs as they arise. GEMA Homeland Security will continue to monitor the winter weather and collaborate with local and state officials to assess conditions and determine the best steps to keep Georgians safe. We ask that you follow all guidance from your local officials and continue to monitor your local National Weather Service and trusted news sources for the most updated information. We'll continue to share updates on our website, that's gema.georgia.gov, through our social media, and directly with local officials. If conditions change, we'll make sure the public knows right away. And with that, I'll pass it over to Commissioner McMurray.
Thank you, Director Lamb. As this winter weather storm is still playing out, and we're in fact in the middle of it, we have continued to work our plan starting on Friday night at midnight, where we've continuously brined and pre-treated the roads before this winter weather came in, some 18,000 miles of road. In fact, we've deployed 1.5 million gallons of brine on Georgia's highways and about 2,500 tons of the salt aggregate mix that we spread as we plowed the sleet and freezing rain that began to accumulate in that wedge area that we're now so familiar with. As this winter weather storm continues to evolve, and as we have a front coming through now as we speak, we are relocating about 70 staff and 42 pieces of equipment to address this wedge area, which is really East Metro, out I-20 to Augusta, over toward Athens, up the I-85 corridor, all the way to South Carolina, up to Gainesville, Georgia, up the 365, 985 corridor, and also up the 400 corridor in Forsyth County, Dawson County, Lumpkin County, up to Dahlonega, where this wedge and where the most material has been accumulating, and where we continue to try to get ahead of this by continuing to brine, spread the salt aggregate mixture, and plow off the slush off the roads. With that being said, we have a lot of winds right now. We have 24 state routes with a closure at some point on them. Most of them are in our northern counties like White, Habersham, Towns, Union counties, as well as Cobb, and one here in Metro Atlanta. This is due to trees falling. And so we are now dealing with wind and trees falling that impede our ability to treat the roads and try to clear them. So we'll continue to deal with that as it comes forward. We will continue and maintain our stance of 12-hour shifts of all hands on call and all hands working, in fact, over to this storm until it's safe to stop. We do expect a refreeze tonight of the precipitation that's coming in now, especially in that wedge area. Will likely refreeze and have more accumulation of freezing rain and sleet that is actually occurring as we speak in many areas. If a roadway looks good now after this rain has moved through, or the freezing rain, don't expect it to be good overnight or into the morning. We still need to get out and treat and make sure these roadways are safe, especially in the daylight tomorrow where the temperatures will be very cold. As the backside of this front we're experiencing now comes through, we'll continue to brine if the rain comes through and it's wet. On the backside of this, we'll continue to brine. If it's sleet, freezing lane, and that wedge area that we've experienced, we'll continue to try to plow that off and spread the salt aggregate mixture. We're going to ask everybody, as Director Lamb did, to just stay home. Thank you for staying home today. We've seen a reduction in traffic, about 70 to 80% over a normal Sunday. But tomorrow morning and overnight is going to be very difficult. And so just stay home until we can provide more information that we know that these roads and the temperatures are favorable for travel. Safety is job number one for us at GDOT and everybody here at GMA team. And we know that's important safety for you, but it's also safety for the women and men that are doing the hard work out there among all our agencies. So please give us all room to work and slow down and move over if you see those amber lights or the blue light escorts that are provided by the Department of Public Safety. And with that, I'll turn it over to Colonel Hitchens from the Department of Public Safety.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I want to start off with reiterating that the majority of the people that have been asked to stay home have heeded that warning, and that is reflected in the total calls that we have seen in the affected areas. So far, since 6 o'clock yesterday, we've had 775 total calls, 25 crashes, and 95 motorist assists. And we would just want to say thank you for paying attention to that and staying off the roads. And we do call for you to continue that same posture as we move through this storm. Our personnel that we have assigned, we brought in some Southern troops, which allows us to put about 50 personnel in the metro area during the daytime hours and 30 personnel overnight. And those personnel will be out there to continue to answer calls, work crashes, help motorists as the need arises. And our northern troops, they remain on what we call Phase A, which means their cars are packed, ready to deploy into any area that is needed, and most likely to be the northeast area of Georgia. Our southern troops are on identified IRT teams, which are initial response teams. If a need arises where there's a affected area in the state, we can bring those personnel in and they'll assist at certain areas that they need. For the folks that are in the metro area are put in sectors, and they're put there so they're getting around the metro area coverage, but we have moved some into the eastern and northern area of the metro area so that they can handle those areas that are more affected. We have CVE, our commercial vehicle enforcement teams that are helping DOT with the treating of the roadways. We also have them deployed with inside the 285 loop, so that any commercial motor vehicle traffic that comes in has a legitimate need to be on the connector into the metro area. So please, if you are CMV, you don't have legitimate reasons to be on the connector, use 285 bypass as you're supposed to. And one issue we did have a motorist that struck a brine truck last night and then struck one of our CVE officers. So not only did that cause a little time that they were down, they were not able to treat the road, but then we also had to get new vehicles out so we could start retreating the roads. And we ask you, when you see those people, give extra space, let them do their job. And if you must get out on the roads, please drive at appropriate speed. That may not be the speed limit. You may not be able to see the ice. Also, remember, if you're driving on ice, don't use cruise control and add extra space in between your car and the vehicles in front of you and to the side. We ask that you do stay home, give our folks time to do their job, and we just want everybody to be safe. And with that, I'll turn it over to General Wilson.
Okay, thank you, Colonel Hitchens. So Governor Kemp has authorized up to 500 National Guardsmen in response to this winter storm. You know, we're a large organization, and our response efforts are certainly scalable if need be. Yesterday, we were able to get approximately 120 soldiers, airmen, and volunteers from the State Defense Force pre-positioned into Northeast Georgia ahead of the storm to assist the Department of Forestry, the Department of Natural Resources, and our county emergency managers. We've primarily been focusing on clearing roadways for our first responders, as well as power restoration efforts for the power companies in those counties. And we're currently operating in Stevens, Rabun, and White counties as of today. We also have teams standing by to move critical supplies by either ground or air if need be, or to respond to any other unmet needs if they arise. We're also in constant communication with our federal partners in the event that any Title 10 capabilities are required as a result of the storm. It's been a very effective response effort thus far, but as everybody else has said today, it's certainly not over. A lot of hard work remains ahead of all of us. Our soldiers and airmen are proud to be part of the team, and so we're going to be in this thing with you until we're finished. Sir?
All right, thank y'all. With that, we'll open it up for a few questions. We'd ask if you have one, please put that into the chat, and our moderator will take it from there.
How many power outages are across the state?
So the last update we had right before coming in this meeting, we had 80,000, just over 80,000 outages in the state.
What is your message for people about driving tomorrow, given today's conditions, and where will we see key issues?
Will, you want to talk about the weather we expect tomorrow and how that relates?
Yes, sir. So as we've mentioned, we're seeing precipitation move through much of Georgia right now. That's going to continue for the next few hours through the early evening. Additional rain and sleet in the Wedge area.
All right, again, state leaders right there giving an update on conditions around the state. Again, some common sense things they're saying to people when it comes to safety in your home. Make sure, especially with space heaters, you're keeping them away from any flammable areas. Also, you're not leaving them on overnight. And also, they're advising people still not to get out on roads unless they have to, especially in the overnight hours. And if you do have to go out, proceed very cautiously. What's the weather happening right here? Well, we'll check in with David when we come back.